So Sam Koshnevis is our next performer, and he is going to be performing a piece by Robert C. O'Brien entitled Rats of None. Sam.
Frisbee and the Rats of Nim by Robert C. O'Brien. "Wait," said Mrs. Frisbee. The crow looked down and saw her in the grass. "But why should I wait? Can't you see that I'm caught? I've got to get loose." "But if you make so much noise again, the cat is sure to hear, if he hasn't heard already. You'd make noise too, if you were tied to a fence with a piece of string, and with night coming on." "I would not," said Mrs. Frisbee. "If I had any sense and knew there was a cat nearby, who tied you?" She was trying to calm the crow, who was obviously terrified. The crow looked embarrassed and stared at his feet. "I picked up the string. It got tangled on my foot. I sat on the fence to try to get it off, and it caught on the fence." "Why did you pick up the string?" asked Mrs. Frisbee. The crow, who was very young indeed, in fact only a year old, said wearily, "Because it was shiny." "You knew better. I have been told." "Bird brain," thought Mrs. Frisbee, and then recalled what her husband used to say. The size of the brain is no measure of its capacity, and well she might recall it. The crow's head was double the size of her own. "Sit quietly," she said. "Look towards the house and see if you see the cat." "I don't see him, but I can't see behind the bushes. Oh, if I could just fly higher." "Don't," said Mrs. Frisbee. She looked towards the sun, who was setting behind the trees. She thought of Timothy and the medicine she was carrying. Yet she knew she couldn't leave the foolish crow there to be killed, and killed he surely would be before sunrise, just for the want of a few minutes' work. She might still make it by dusk if she hurried. "Come down here. I'll get the string off." "How?" the crow asked dubiously. "Don't argue. I only have a few minutes." She said this in a voice so authoritative that the crow fluttered down immediately. "But if the cat comes," he said, "if the cat comes, he'll knock you off the fence with one jump and catch you with the next." "Be still." She was already at work with her sharp teeth, gnawing at the string. It was twined and twisted and twined again around his right ankle. She saw that she would have to cut through it 3 times to get it off. As she finished the second strand, the crow, who was staring towards the house, suddenly cried out, "I see the cat!" "Quiet," whispered Mrs. Frisbee. "Does he see us?" "I don't know. Yes, he's looking at me. I don't think he can see you." "Stand perfectly still. Don't get in a panic." She did not look up, but started on the 3rd strand. "He's moving this way." "Fast or slow?" "Medium. I think he's trying to figure out what I'm doing." She cut through the last strand, gave a tug, and the string fell off. "There, you're free. Fly off and be quick." "But what about you?" "Maybe he hasn't seen me, but he will. He's coming closer." Mrs. Frisbee looked around. There was not any cover anywhere near. Not a rock, nor a hole, nor a log. Nothing at all closer than a chicken yard. And that was in the direction the cat was coming from, and a long way off. "Look," said the crow. "Climb on my back. Quick! And hang on." Mrs. Frisbee did what she was told, first grasping her precious packages of medicine tightly between her teeth. "Are you on?" "Yes." Mrs. Frisbee gripped the feathers on his back, felt the beat of his powerful black wings, felt a dizzying upward surge, and shut her eyes tight. "Just in time," said the crow, as she heard the angry scream of the cat as he leaped at where they had just been.